A big wingman, welcome to the wingman's path, to positivity, to raising your vibration, and to creating a life of your choosing. I welcome you. I thank you for being here with me, and I thank you for inviting me in, and I thank you for sharing positive energy with all of us on the path today. Because if there's one thing I've learned, is when we are all sharing positive energy, it makes it that much easier for each of us to bring more positive energy into our lives. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for sharing these with your friends and families and loved ones and neighbors and anyone you know who can use a spark of positive energy. Because there's one thing I've found, that when we can create those little sparks of positive energy, suddenly they start becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and we start living the life of our choosing by just surrounding ourselves with positive energy, yeah? Thank you. Anyway, let me tell you today's practice. And you can see the question right above. In the autobiography of your life, what chapter are you in? What chapter are you in? And this comes to us from a poem. Now this poem was written by Portia Nelson, called The Autobiography of My Life. And I believe Jan introduced it to me well before I ever discovered the wingman's path. So allow me to read it to you. And then for today's practice, I want you to just think about what chapter you are in. Right? Pretty simple, right? Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I still see it there. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And chapter 5 is I walk down another street. Now, when Jan first brought this poem to me, I remember it was I was in a very challenging time, and my stepdaughter Hannah and I used to laugh, saying that I was setting up cable in that pothole, in that deep hole in the sidewalk, right? And I was in chapter 2, and I wanted to live in chapter 2, man. I couldn't believe I was in the hole again, but I decided I'd call cable. I had internet coming the next week. I was there, right? And I think laughing about it really helped change that vibration. But for me, I'm more of a literal learner. And fortunate for me, I would say, is we were living in a town that had one of those fantastic speed traps, right? One of those streets that is just a fantastic speed trap. And I would drive it. It's a way out of town, and I would drive it often. And it came to let me know about my life, because I would drive it often, and I would often get stopped by police. Now, the fact I lived in the town, so they did not give me a ticket, but I had to have been stopped 10 times before I actually learned the lesson to drive down a different street, which helped me, of course, move along in my autobiography to walking down a different street with my life, to avoiding all potholes, right, when I know they're there. But I know for some of us, and I know for me, when it's a habit and you keep falling into that hole, that giant hole, right? Even though you see it, even though you know you shouldn't, you fall in anyway. It's almost as if you're jumping in, right? Walk down a different street. Move on to your next chapter. Again, today's practice is just to think about, in the autobiography of your life, what chapter are you in? What chapter are you in? Are you in chapter 2, like I was, and setting up cable and just falling in and feeling hopeless? Or chapter 3, when it's a habit, but you start realizing it and you start breaking out. Or chapter 4, when you walk around it. Or chapter 5, when you walk down a different street so you'll avoid that giant hole, that giant pothole of your life. You avoid it totally, right? No habit's going to take you back there. I thank you so much for joining me today. If someone can, please post that poem. It's by Portia Nelson. I think it's called An Autobiography of My Life. Of course, tomorrow night, man, if you were in South Jersey, I was doing the practices yesterday. You know, we have 90 minutes of pure practice to get our vibrations moving in a really great direction and start living the life of our choosing. And I look forward to seeing you there tomorrow night. If you can make it, by all means, it'll kickstart your positive energy and your success in whatever you're looking to build. Be it a business, be it a relationship, be it a life. Have a great day today. One in which you recognize where you are in the autobiography of your life and start moving forward to the next chapter. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Your Wingman Michael from the Wingman's Path to Positivity, signing off.